Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my monologues. Today I want to talk about gratitude. Thank goodness for that, eh? Thank goodness for things. We often don't count our blessings very much. We don't necessarily think that we are well off in lots of different ways, with our friends, with our family, with perhaps things that we possess. I'm very thankful for the wonders of nicotine, for example. Somebody asked me the other day, or said in the comments, where is the evidence that nicotine is of any use to anything? Check out Dr. Brian Ardis's videos, is my answer to that. It's Easter Sunday at the moment as I talk to you, and I don't know when you'll watch this. You could be watching this some 100 years in the future if YouTube's still going. But people will be celebrating Easter in different ways or not celebrating it. Some people will be very thankful that there is a God looking over them. Other people will perhaps have no notion of that whatsoever. It is important, though, I think, to be grateful, to have gratitude, to look at one's life and at times think, thank goodness for that. Thank goodness that I'm here. Thank goodness we're alive. Thank goodness we've got our family and our friends and life and the animals around us. Thank goodness we've still got food. You know, at the moment with the stuff that's going on in the world and the pressures that we've been under, thank goodness there is a number of people who are aware of things. Thank goodness there are those people who decided not to take certain medical interventions. Thank goodness there are those people who speak out against it and warn people. Thank goodness there are people that listen. Thank goodness I've got viewers. Thank goodness that the world is slowly coming into where we want it to be. It's been a long journey, hasn't it? And we've suffered a lot. We've been watching. Look at me. I've got a jumper on. I've got a jacket on. I'm almost dressed for winter again because they have been spraying the skies, as we know, and blanketing everywhere. Although we have had, and thank goodness for that, we have had some beautiful sunny weather, which is rather nice. So I'm ever grateful for that. Being grateful is necessary, I think, to have appreciation of life itself. There are those, we see them in the media, and sometimes you see them on the streets, those that feel entitled all the time. They're not grateful for anything, they just feel entitled. My youngest son's girlfriend works in the nursing profession, and she was at a hospital looking after discharged patients. And the elderly people there would get a discharge packet to take home for the next few days when they would go home. It would be very simple things, maybe a little bit of tea, some milk, maybe some biscuits and various things. I don't really know what went into it, but it was a very simple thing. And then they would get a taxi ride home, something along those lines. And those patients, those elderly patients who'd been in, they'd fallen, they've had all sorts of things, they've survived, they've not been given too much midazolam and things like that. They've not been on the Liverpool pathway. They've managed to survive all of those hurdles, and they've got out. And then my son's girlfriend would sort them out and help them and get them home, and so they would be looked after. And every now and again, she said, sometimes we would get these youngsters who would see what these elderly people who are on their own, they've lived their lives, they're frail, and they would see this care package that they would get, and they would say, well, where's mine? And these are sort of 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds who are, in theory, in the beginning of their life. They're incredibly healthy, and they're saying, and I want one. I'm entitled. If you're giving it to her, I'm entitled to have one. And if you're going to give her a taxi ride, I want a taxi ride. Me. We've got into a society, have we not, where there's a lot of people, and you only have to look on social media, and please try and avoid that if you can, where a lot of people are incredibly self-centered, incredibly egotistical. And I don't think that's a mistake. I don't think that's by accident. I think that is very much by design. The television and the type of programming that is going on, the mainstream media and the social media The social media with the Instagram, look at me, look at me, look at me all the time. And I'm entitled to this and I ought to have that. We ought to have these rights and we better have this and we must have that. And you know, sometimes it's just quite handy to be thankful for what we've got, because it seems so much is being taken from us, that it is handy, you know, if you can get out into the countryside and hear birds. Thank God there are still birds around. Insects, pollinators, they seem to have vanished. Man is not a great advocate for looking after himself, is he? He gets greedy, and so he starts to want to manufacture things in huge numbers, and he wants to make as much money as possible and take the shortest of cuts, regardless of what damage it does to the planet. And we've seen that with mass industrialization and, of course, the polluting of the planet with glyphosate and things like that, so that it affects the smallest creatures, kills them off for the need to have GM crops or monoculture. And then the pollinators disappear, and without the pollinators other things don't grow. And we've seen so much of the countryside, swathes of the countryside disappear. So we need to be thankful if there is any of it left. And that being grateful for that means, in a way, we understand how important it is to have those things, so that we can say, no, I don't want vast fields of solar panels or wind farms, because I don't believe that actually that is really doing anything. If we're not grateful for the most simplistic things, the simple things, then we don't realise the importance of those things in our lives. And they are important. People are so distracted by big stories, by false flags, really, by things going on over here. Have a look at this. And you're not seeing the things that really matter. And the things that often really matter are the most simplest and the smallest and free. We should be grateful that we can, one way or another, still manage to have clean water, even though it's a complete and utter nightmare to try and get to it, what with the reverse osmosis machines or the things that boil the water and create steam that gin is made from. I can't remember what the name of the blooming thing is, you know what I mean, or various filters and things to get clean water. As I said before, to have the skies clear from all the sprays that they're doing, to still be able to go out. I mean, do you remember 5 years ago when people were locked in their houses? Let's be grateful that we've not done that. Let's be grateful that we've learnt these things, so that the simple things, the important things that we really understand and can hold on to and fight for and say, no, no one's going to take that away from us. Let's be grateful that more and more people are waking up. And most importantly, and I know this is a kind of a rambling thing, and a lot of people may be going, Richard, you know, you're not telling us about how to fight back against the council tax and fight back against the tyranny and fight back against these things that perhaps in earlier videos I used to do. And I'm grateful that I've done that, but I'm also thinking now I want to find the solutions, and also I want to understand what life is and actually live. And I don't want to put people in fear. So we should be grateful for those videos that elevate us, that take us to different places, that make us laugh and make us smile and make us enjoy life. Be grateful for those, and less putting into our time those things that make us frightened and fearful. There are loads of people out there who are doing good work, light work, I think they call it, in which it is about raising the vibrations and keeping us happy and smiling and laughing and enjoying life. Grateful that we can still do that, grateful that we can still walk the streets relatively freely, even though we know that they would like to put in a network of facial recognition and control us through 5G and all of this. The best part of all of this, though, that we should be grateful for, and I feel it deep in my heart, and I feel I, you know, occasionally need to say this to you, is that we're winning. And I'm grateful that we're winning. And in many ways, I'm grateful we've gone through this that has given us a kick up the backside, that we've seen that governments don't always work, that actually that type of governance is not useful or helpful, that getting into the voting business never really gave us any help at all, that petitioning and protesting hasn't really done a great deal in terms of changing policies for a UK corporation which doesn't even exist. No, I'm grateful that we've gone through all of this. I'm very grateful because it's made me realise that actually there are more important things. I'm grateful that we went through the lockdown and through this this tyranny, because I've actually, by being open-minded and speaking to other critical thinkers and people who practice common sense, I've made some amazing friends. I've realised who my friends are and who were just there to, you know, get whatever they could out of me. I'm grateful for the viewers that watch my videos, and I'm grateful that we are winning this journey that we're going through, and things will get better. We may not be there. I'm not saying we're there, but I'm grateful that the change for a better life is happening, and I'm grateful that people are slowly becoming aware of it. And that, my friends, is the best part of all. That people are waking up. They are aware that the future is in their hands and not in the hands of politicians and those who pull the strings and the dark forces and the narcissistic idiots. It's not with them. I'm grateful that people are beginning to realise that we are alive. Thank you very much for watching.